Most of your real battles will be fought without witnesses. You will bleed without an audience, and that private pain, if faced correctly, becomes victory. Stoicism teaches a hard truth. Life is not conquered in crowds. It is conquered alone, in silence, through mastery of response. Marcus Aurelius warned us that the strength of the soul is shown in self-command. Today, I'll reveal 7 dark things you must conquer alone to become unbreakable. These are not shared burdens. They are exclusively yours. If you keep outsourcing your pain, you are outsourcing your soul. If you avoid these battles, you may look strong, but you'll stay fragile inside. Face them alone, and nothing outside you can break you. Seneca said, "A man is powerful when he is sufficient unto himself." Epictetus reminded us that it's not events, but our judgments that destroy us. Stay with me. The 7th battle has broken men who looked invincible. Thing 1. There is a wound you carry that no apology will ever fully heal. No explanation. No closure conversation. This is the first dark thing you must face alone. Old emotional wounds, betrayal, abandonment, humiliation are not repaired by time. They are repaired by attention. Most people avoid this. They stay busy. They stay loud. They distract themselves with relationships, work, or endless scrolling. But avoidance doesn't erase pain. It buries it alive. H. If you don't face old wounds directly, they will secretly control your reactions for the rest of your life. But when you sit alone with the pain and name it, you take your power back. I've seen men explode over small disrespect, not because of the moment, but because it touched an old scar. One man told me, "I wasn't angry at her. I was angry at everyone who ever left." Stoicism doesn't teach suppression. It teaches inspection. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the mind must examine itself daily, like a physician checking a wound. If you refuse to look, infection spreads. Healing alone means revisiting memories without drama. No blaming, no victim stories. Just asking, what did this teach me about my judgments? If you keep waiting for someone else to fix what hurt you, you will stay dependent and emotionally breakable. But when you process pain alone, you become impossible to manipulate. This work is quiet. It happens at night. It happens when no one is clapping for you. And that's why it works. Seneca warned that unresolved emotions turn into chains. The man who heals privately walks lighter, straighter, calmer. And once you stop bleeding internally, something changes. You stop reacting. You start choosing. Because if you cannot heal your past alone, you will carry it into every future battle. And that leads directly into the next challenge: disciplining the mind when no one is watching, which is where most people quietly fail. Thing 2, this is where most people fail, not in public, but alone. Disciplining the mind is a private war. No audience, no applause, just you versus your impulses. Your mind wants comfort, easy stories, excuses that sound reasonable. Stoicism calls this the enemy within. If you let your mind run untrained, it will sabotage your best intentions without asking permission. But when you discipline your thoughts in solitude, you become internally ungovernable. Epictetus was clear. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. That means every emotional collapse begins as an undisciplined judgment. Training the mind alone means catching thoughts before they harden into beliefs. I can't. I deserve this. It's too late. You challenge them in silence. You replace them deliberately. No motivation speeches. No external validation. If you only act disciplined when others are watching, your strength is borrowed, and it will disappear under pressure. But when discipline is private, it becomes permanent. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. He reminded himself each morning what kind of resistance the world would bring. Not to complain, but to prepare. This kind of discipline creates something rare: emotional stability, mental clarity, calm under stress. And once your mind is trained, you face the next darkness, building a vision when no one believes in it, which is where true solitude begins. Thing 3. This battle is lonely by design, because vision is fragile in its early form. When you speak it too early, people question it, laugh at it, water it down. So Stoicism teaches restraint. You build in silence. You carry the weight alone. If you rely on approval before you move, your future will always be delayed by other people's fear. But when you build your vision alone, it becomes immune to doubt. A vision is not motivation. It's a direction you commit to when motivation disappears. Seneca warned about this. If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. Clarity comes from solitude. You sit with uncomfortable questions. What do I actually want? What am I willing to sacrifice? What kind of man must I become? No one can answer that for you, and that's the point. If you avoid this solitude, you'll borrow goals from society and wake up living someone else's life. But when you define your path alone, every step gains meaning. This private vision becomes your anchor. When chaos hits, when people doubt you, when progress feels slow. And once you know where you're going, you face the next dark challenge: enduring loneliness without becoming bitter, which breaks more people than failure ever does. Thing 4. Loneliness is not the enemy. Bitterness is. Many people can be alone. Very few can be alone without turning cold. This is a battle you must face by yourself, because no one can sit in that silence for you. If you avoid loneliness, you will keep chasing people who drain your strength. But if you endure it consciously, loneliness sharpens you instead of breaking you. Stoicism never promised comfort. It promised clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can a man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul, but only if the soul is disciplined." Loneliness exposes what you've been distracting yourself from: unhealed wounds, unanswered questions, untrained thoughts. If you escape this phase, you'll stay emotionally dependent and easily manipulated. But staying present in loneliness builds self-sufficiency. This is where you learn to enjoy your own company, to think clearly, to move deliberately. And something powerful happens. You stop needing validation. You stop explaining yourself. Most people grow resentful here and harden. The Stoic grows calm and becomes dangerous in the right way. Once loneliness no longer controls you, you're ready for the next confrontation. Facing your own destructive habits, the quiet routines that sabotage strong men from the inside. Thing 5. Most men are not defeated by enemies. They are defeated by habits they keep protecting. This battle must be faced alone, because excuses sound reasonable only in your own head. Scrolling when you should build. Comfort eating when you should confront. Delaying decisions that demand courage. If you don't confront your patterns, they will quietly decide your future for you. But once you expose them, you reclaim authorship over your life. Epictetus warned, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Most people skip the doing. Self-sabotage feels safe because it's familiar, but familiar pain is still pain. If you keep negotiating with weakness, strength never arrives. Discipline ends the negotiation. This phase is uncomfortable because you can no longer blame circumstances. You see clearly that change costs effort. Daily, lonely effort. Many quit here and call it being realistic. The Stoic calls it training. Every corrected habit compounds. Every resisted impulse strengthens command over the self. Seneca wrote, "He is powerful who has power over himself." Once your patterns obey you, a deeper trial appears. Facing failure without losing identity. The moment where strong people either evolve or collapse inward. Thing 6. Failure is not the danger. Attachment to identity is. Most people collapse not because they failed, but because they became the failure. When results vanish, when effort looks wasted, when silence replaces praise, this battle must be faced alone. If failure defines you, you'll fear action forever. But if you separate who you are from what happened, you become unshakable. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. The loss is external. Your judgment is not." Failure strips illusions. It reveals whether your confidence was built on outcomes or on character. If your worth depends on winning, you are easy to break. If your worth comes from effort and values, no loss can touch you. Stoicism teaches this clearly. Control the response, not the result. You don't announce this recovery. You don't explain it. You rebuild quietly, with discipline, humility, and memory. Those who rush to be seen back on top never truly recover. Those who train in silence return dangerous. And just when you think strength is complete, one final trial remains, the darkest one, standing alone without resentment toward the world itself. Thing 7. This is the battle that breaks strong people. You did the work. You endured the pain. You stood alone. And still, life was unfair. Resentment whispers, "After everything I gave, this is what I get." If resentment takes root, all your strength turns toxic. But if you release it alone, you gain a calm nothing can steal. Resentment feels justified, but Stoicism calls it a hidden debt, a tax you pay every day to the past. Epictetus warned, "It's not what happens to you, but how you judge it." Resentment is a judgment, and judgments are optional. If you keep blaming the world, you stay emotionally owned by it. When you drop blame, you reclaim full authority over yourself. This release is silent. No apologies demanded, no closure speeches. Just a private decision. I refuse to carry this. Seneca wrote, "A wrong is only done if you keep it." Those who need fairness to move forward never move far. Those who accept reality without bitterness become unstoppable. When resentment dies, presence is born. Calm becomes permanent. And now, you are ready to walk a path few ever see. The power of bleeding privately and standing solid in public. That is where we end. What you've just heard is not motivation. It's a warning. If you keep outsourcing your strength, you will live dependent forever. But when you choose to walk in silence, you begin to stand on something solid. Stoicism teaches this simple truth. The world respects what is self-contained. Private discipline creates public power. Invisible battles shape visible destiny. If you avoid facing yourself alone, comfort will slowly make you fragile. But when you endure solitude without escaping it, you become unshakable. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that real strength is character, not applause. Seneca warned that the man who needs approval is never free. Epictetus made it clear, what breaks us is not events, but our judgments. So walk quietly, bleed without an audience, Get up without witnesses. If this path scares you, that's the proof you need it. And if you're ready to grow without noise, subscribe to Stoic Spring. Comment which battle you're facing alone.